Welcome to New Knives, everybody. Today we got a lot of interesting stuff, included a two-bladed M390 titanium frame lock that I'm really excited to tell you about. Let's talk knives. First knife on the table is new from Chaves Knives. We have the RCK9. Now, for you Chavez historians out there, and I've bumped into a few of you on Facebook, you'll know that the RCK9 started out as a fixed blade. So it was a skeletonized pocket fixed blade that had the skull clip on it, and then the sheath was very small, and you'd put the whole knife just in your pocket vertically. And then recently, Iconic Knives has a fairly budget-friendly version of the RCK9. I believe it has a D2 blade and a G10 handle. But now we get the folder version from Chavez himself with this excellent, excellent offering. M390 blade, titanium, 3 inches on the blade, 7.25 inches overall. And this is what I really appreciate about this. There's a lot of very small attentions to detail that sometimes go unnoticed. So first of all, it's got a fairly thick blade stock, but a very tall saber grind. So it's gonna be plenty strong, but also plenty slicey. We are back to the internally mounted screws on the skull pocket clip, which I personally think is a welcome addition because back in the day it was all like this and it kind of gave you that clean skull look. However, nowadays, most of the Chavez knives you can get have the screws on the front so you can swap them out more easily instead of having to take apart the knife. But then your skull has eyebrows and I just can't unsee it. So one of my favorite things that they've updated on this is this frame lock engagement. So when it comes to frame locks, you have to have a cutout for it to extend, for the lock bar to bend, and then it has to meet up somewhere. And on most frame locks, like I brought an Ontario Shikra over, you can see how the lock bar ends right here instead of rounding the pivot, and it ends right in the middle of the choil. The next thing I'm going to tell you is very bothersome to some people, and most people don't care. I'm on team don't care, but my friend Jacob in copywriting cares deeply about this little hump right here, because when he seats his finger in it, it kind of gives him a hot spot. His hands are significantly skinnier than mine, so that might have something to do with it. However, the RCK9 fixes that by having the lock bar round the pivot. Here, I'll bring these up so you can see them next to each other. You can see how much higher it gets, and that way, when your finger's in the choil, you have full protection from that little hump right there. In fact, my finger doesn't even touch it. So if that bothers you on a frame lock, the RCK9 will not bother you. Very well done from Chavez Knives. These are going for $345, and these are from the first batch. They might be sold out by the time this video goes out. However, if you do see them sold out, there will be more very quickly. I was talking to my friend Aaron over there. He has assured me that there will be many RCK9s in the future, and I'm here for it. Next up, new from Knives. So the Knives EMW is what we're looking at here, and this knife, as I kind of teased in the intro, has 2 blades. So they're both M390, both front flippers, titanium liner, titanium frame lock, and this one has this interesting carbon fiber inlay. And it gives you this Tanto, I'm gonna say Tanto because it's got the second point. This is the Americanized Tanto, so I'm gonna say it like an American. And this one over here is the Bushido blade. And my understanding is the designer behind this is a martial artist. So I don't know if using both knives at the same time in a martial arts capacity was the vision here, but I'll tell you what I would appreciate with this is just having 2 M390 blades. You have so much edge retention on each of them. I'm willing to bet that if you did an annual sharpening and you did all of your cutting daily with this one knife, you'd probably be set because great edge retention on 2 different blades. Got the tip strength that you want on the Tanto, and you've got the slicing capacity on the Bushido. Just excellent, excellent work. These ones are a bit spendy, but once again, you're getting tons of titanium and a lot of M390. Comes with a leather slip too. This particular one goes for $377, but it could go up or down depending on who, what, when, where, why. But the EMW, very interesting blade. A lot of people in the comments are always asking us to give you specs. It has 3-inch blades, but if you want true overall length, it's gonna be 10 inches. So if you close one of the blades, it gives you 7 inches overall. So a very pleasant everyday carry size and a nice thick handle to wrap your hand around too. Very nice work, Knives. Next up, new from Buck Knives, we have what we've affectionately been calling the Frankenbuck. And you're like, well, that's just a Buck 110 Slim. And you're right, it is just a Buck 110 Slim, but there's some special things going on here. Generally, the Buck 110 Slim will have a thumb stud opener instead, but this one has the nail nick opener that is found on the traditional Buck 110 that you're used to. But this one is found on the Slim, so it's very slim and lightweight. Still big knife, but it's featherweight, easy to carry around all day, every day. And it has a Boss Heat treated S35 VN blade. Also, in the comments, people always get on my case about calling it Boss Heat Treat. I asked CJ Buck himself, Paul Boss Heat Treat. I have authorization to say Boss. This is cool, and one of my favorite thing is USA made, S35 VN, Boss Heat treated, $89.95. So $90 gets you a truly excellent knife, and there's really nothing bad to say about it. Next up, new from Benchmade, we have the Bailout with the FDE Cerakote blade and the Crater Blue handles. So this one goes for $270, and it has the 3-ish inch blade and 8 inches overall. So a very nice everyday carry size, built super tough, like all the Bailouts are. I will tell you, if I were going to war right now and I could bring a folder with me, it would probably be this one. Just very well built, nice aluminum handles. CPM M4 is a very tough blade steel. Holds a great edge too. I think it's very well apportioned here. Next up, we have the Reiff Knives F4 in Magna Cut. So I saw this and I'm like, is that like a slightly higher polish? And it very well might be a slightly higher polish, but I think it will retain that slightly higher polished look because this is the first stainless Reiff knife I've ever seen. Very cool. So this one comes out of the box with the micarta and of course the CPM Magna Cut blade. And I grabbed the Kydex sheath because I'm thinking if you're gonna have Magna Cut, you're trying to avoid the rust. And if you're trying to avoid rust, it probably means you're hanging out in water. And if you're hanging out in water, then you're probably gonna want Kydex instead of leather. Just my opinion. I was on the swim team in high school and I once got Sparta kicked into the pool and my little Nokia 10 key died. And I was very sad. And now everything I wear, I'm like, it must be able to be submerged. That's why I have a nylon belt. That's why all my sheaths are Kydex. It's why all my knives are mostly stainless or coated. Anyway, not that any of you cared. Last knife on the table is the Squid Industries Tsunami. And I gotta tell you, this one has been a long time coming to Blade HQ. So last year at Blade Show West, there were Tsunamis for sale at the Squid Industries booth. And I remember I was just waiting for the doors to open on Saturday. I had the exhibitor badge, so I got to go in early. And I'm like, you know what? We're gonna follow the first people who come in. Because at Blade Show, people tend to walk very briskly, if not run, to where whatever, the cool thing that's dropping first thing at the show. However, faster than I've ever seen anybody run before, they drop the rope, I see this kid book it. And I'm like, where are you going, dude? And he yells, Squid! And that's the last I ever saw of him. And then about 2 minutes later, I saw Lucas Cow come with a sign or something to that effect that says like, this is the last person who can get a Tsunami. So, luckily, the Bally Boys have all got their Tsunamis, and luckily for us at Blade HQ, we have our Tsunamis here. And I'll tell you, these are the premiumist, most premium Balisongs I have ever felt. They are so smooth. Their balance point is just perfect. So it's like right at that first little hatch right here. So it's gonna be both tactile and visual where your balance point is. Slick as butter on the bushings and the action. The tang doesn't protrude very much. The pins are fully captured. And the back of it looks and feels kind of like a channel, but it's actually a sandwich. You can take it apart, do a full deep clean. The Balisong I carry around all the time is the Talisong Z. And this one, because it's a true channel, you have to press the pins. And I haven't seen it on this one, but on the Nabalis Volp that my friend Jacob over here in email has, he's lost a pin because it's pressed, and at the end of the day, you're just bouncing stuff against that pin all day long, and it can wiggle loose with time. But that will never happen because this is fully captured. There's no hole for the pin to back out of. Just so much attention to detail, and everybody at Squid Industries is so into Balisongs, and you can tell the passion, expertise, and effort that went into this thing. Now that comes at a price. You're getting titanium and S35 VN for $760. So if you are a serious Bally flipper, I'm willing to bet that you will not find a higher performing one than this. I might just get one anyway because they're awesome. I'll have to talk to the wife about that one. Anyway, that's new knives for the week. Hope you've all enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.